In this video, I'm going to break down the exact foundation of how to build a personal brand. This is the exact strategy I've used to scale my brand to over $1 million a year, and it's the same one that I teach every single one of my clients. And that's resulted in clients going from even zero to multiple 5 figures a month, scaling to $100,000 a month in just 6 months. I'm going to break down multiple topics, exactly how to implement them, and examples of what I've done with my own personal brand, my personal content pillars, brand pillars, and everything in between. So without further ado, let's get right into it. All right, so personal brand foundation. I want to cover first the core idea of what actually is a personal brand, or why does this actually matter? Why can't you just post random content? Personal brand is the difference between someone scrolling past you and falling for you. Without one, you're just another coach competing on value, racing to give more for less. With one, you're not a coach, you're a person people want to be around, and they pay to have access to. This is the leverage point that most coaches or most content creators in general skip, and that's why most of them stay stuck. So, what do you actually need and what actually builds a personal brand? You need 2 things, not just one. Most people confuse content pillars with personal brand pillars, and they are very different, but you need both. Content pillars is the thing that you actually make content about that is directly tied to your offer. For example, if you are a fitness coach, you're going to be posting about nutrition. You're going to be posting about like workouts. You're going to be posting about mindset, right? If you do what I do, you're going to be posting about offers, content, maybe like hiring teams. Content pillars is the foundation. What are you actually creating content on? Now, personal brand pillars, which is the things about you that you tie into these content pillars, is what really makes it so you're no longer competing on price, you're competing on value and competing on brand. So, personal brand pillars. This is 3 things about you. The traits, stories, and aesthetic that actually make you you. Or content pillars get you watched, but personal brand pillars make you actually memorable. So, how do you actually find these? What are they actually? Like, what is the purpose of each of them? And then how do you actually make content when you get these? So, for content pillars, these are the 3 most broad topics that you help with. Okay, like I said before, if you're a fitness coach, it could be nutrition, mindset, and workouts. If it's for me, it could be content, offers, and working as a founder. These are going to be the categories that you create content on. And what you need to do is determine, okay, what are the top 3 things that you're actually going to make content on, or that you're going to teach, that you're going to provide value about. And then you want to take those and divide those into smaller subjects. So for example, a fitness coach could be talking about nutrition, right? So let's even write this. Now, in nutrition, there's a lot of different things that they could be talking about, right? They could talk about like fat loss foods. Ooh. They could talk about different like kinds of diets. They could talk about like myths regarding these, right? All of those things. It could be with the mindset. They could be talking about like limiting beliefs. They could be talking about like whatever, right? The whole idea is that you have to determine what are your top 3 topics that you talk about as a content creator, okay? Or as a coach. What are the 3 things you actually provide value on? And now you want to expand upon each of these. So for me, content, I can talk about hooks, formats, funnels, strategy, scripting. For offers, charging more, upsells, referrals, LTV, better programs. For founder, I can talk about removing low leverage work, hiring, business strategies. Every video you make should sit under one of these 3 pillars, and that's how you perceive expertise. But by going deep into these 3 things, not shallow on 30, okay? That is how you provide expertise, that's how you properly provide value, and this is how you actually get known for a specific topic, right? This is how you're gonna sell people on the value side of things. But you need to sell people not only on the value, logically, but also emotionally. And that is where personal brand pillars come in, which is the real differentiator of whether you can charge more, whether people buy into you or buy into someone else, and whether you are just a value brand that is being watched versus someone that's actually able to sell high ticket packages and consistently sell these. So what are these? These are 3 admirable, distinctive traits that nobody else has combined. Each of them alone should be interesting or admirable, but together they're unforgettable. So these are my 3, okay? These are the 3 things that make me admirable, that make me me, and that basically is, if you were to describe me in 3 different ways, this would be it. The first is that I'm 19 years old with an old money look and modeling aesthetic, right? what I can do is, this is one of my brand pillars. This is what makes me me. It's that I'm young, but it's not flashy, right? And then I have like a modeling-esque fashion background, okay? Admirable things, right? For some people, it can be admirable if you want or not, right? But this is one of them. The second one is that I run a 100K a month business that I'm fully removed from. And then the third is that I walked away from inheritance to build something on my own at just 17 years old, right? All three of these are interesting and admirable. Now, what you do is you find these things and then you lean into all of the specific things that you can, okay? Just like we did with the content pillars, we're gonna do it with the personal brand pillars as well. I'm 19 years old, old money model aesthetic. What can I lean into? I can lean into the fact that I'm young. I can lean into the fact that I like to dress well. I can lean into the fact that I have a creative background, right? I can lean into the fact that I'm not flashy, right? But I'm more humble with my money. I don't show off, okay? I run a 100K a month business I'm fully removed from. What can I lean in here, right? I can lean into that I'm actually living the life that I teach. I can lean into the fact that I'm able to spend time with family. I'm able to work very little hours a day. I'm able to lean into the fact that I basically run like my dream business, okay? And then my third one is that I walked away from inheritance to build my own business at 17. I can like go over my transformation, okay? I can go through my background of I've seen all sides of money and that's why I do what I do. I can lean into the fact that that's why I don't show flashy stuff. Each pillar itself isn't unique, but the intersection of all three is. So that's the formula. You pick traits where the combination of three are rare and admirable. So how do you actually find your three? Ask what's admirable about you. Not what you're proud of, but things that other people wish they had. Your lifestyle, your results, your story, your looks, your mindset, whatever it is. And you need to pick things that are already true. So don't manufacture a brand, but lean into what's real, or it feels fake on camera. So the best way that you can actually do this is going to ask other people. Instead of just picking random things and like choosing them, what you want to do is go to the people. You can go to your clients, you can go to your family, you can go to someone, ask them and say, if you had to describe me, or if you had to find three admirable things about me, or what is the most admirable thing about me, find the commonalities between these and make these your personal brand pillars. I have an onboarding form that every single time someone becomes a client, we ask them these questions. We say, what did you actually like about me? What made you join? Why did you join me over all the hundreds of other coaches? And 9 out of 10 times, they all said one of the same things. They said that I'm young and that I don't flash my money, right? That's one of them. So I'm able to turn that and lean into that as a pillar. One of the other ones is that I'm able to run a 100K a month business or run this business without having to constantly work and not doing it on my own. Okay, that was a very common one that people said. It's very admirable. I'm not guessing. I'm basing this off of what people have said and what people have actually became clients for. So that's one of them. And then the other one is that it's kind of similar to the first, but it doesn't have anything to do with my age. It's that they know I'm young and they know my background, but I always do my own thing, right? So I really thought, okay, how can I really show this? One of the biggest things is that I walked away from being able to inherit like multiple family businesses to start on my own at 17. These are admirable things and I'm able to lean into each individual thing. Now, what you want to do is when you have them, test them, right? So the three together should feel very rare. If there's 1,000 other coaches that share your combo, it's not a brand, right? You're just like picking 3 surface level things. So really get specific with it. There should be nobody else that you can think of that does the same thing as you that has all 3. Now choose traits you can showcase visually or verbally in every piece of content. This is the key. So you need both because content pillars is what your content is about, but personal brand pillars are what you are about. And if you combine them with each video, people fall in love. You stop competing on value, which is a losing game because there's always going to be someone who's cheaper or better, and you start competing on brand, which is unmatchable because there's only one you. And that's how you charge whatever you want. That's how you bring your dream clients, and that's how you choose. Now, when you're thinking of content ideas, the best way to do it is to pick a content pillar, find something that you want to talk about, then pick a personal brand pillar and think, okay, how can you tie one of those parts into your content pillar? For example, I did a video once where it was a clone video, okay? It was basically just 2 versions of me. One was on the left, one was on the right. One was a 20K a month coach and one was 100, okay? And they were just spewing 20K a month coach was saying, I do this, 100K a month was doing, I do this, right? Super basic, broad video. So what I did to tie into my part is I wanted to tie in one of my personal brand pillars. So I chose 19 years old with old money look and model aesthetic. What we did is we set it up to look like a movie interview. And we had the little titles come out on the sides to make it look like someone was being interviewed for a movie. So tying in that kind of like really young, because I'm clearly young, I was wearing two different like very like stylish outfits, and it was like set up kind of like a movie shoot, right? So that's how we're able to tie in personal brand pillars to content pillars. And that's how you really build a personal brand. Now you can do it either way, either which way. You can take a story, right? Walked away from inheritance, and then you can add this into a content pillar, right? It could be like the fact that I walked away from inheritance. Okay, what I can lean into with this could be the fact that I will always choose my own path. Okay, now I can kind of lean that into content, and I can say, because I chose to not take inheritance and I did this on my own, it taught me to choose my own path and always do what I thought would work. And that's why we are able to like create new content formats that nobody's ever used, which is what we did. We started creating new formats that everyone started copying. So you're able to tie your personal brand pillars, what about you, that have nothing to do with business, and you're able to tie those into your content pillars, and that's how you really make it memorable, right? People are not going to remember what your favorite color is, but if you tie it to a story, they're more likely to. That's the whole idea. So win on associations. The strongest brands win on associations, not features. Apple isn't bought because it's objectively the best phone. It's bought because it's innovation, it's clean design, it's status. Nike isn't bought because it has unique shoes. It's because it's discipline, winning, greatness. People don't buy products. They buy products that make them feel certain things or feel about themselves, right? Your brand pillars are your associations. Lean into them in videos, the aesthetic, the story, the lifestyle, and make them part of every piece of content, okay? So how it connects to the content machine. Personal brand is what makes everything else compound. Setting is easier because your leads already feel like they know you. Sales is easier because the call isn't about convincing. They're already sold on you. It's about confirming. You can raise prices because you're not selling a service, you're selling access to you, and you're selling access to your mission. Referrals happen because people naturally want to be associated. And without a personal brand, every part of the machine fights uphill. With one, it pulls leads through itself. So find 3 content pillars and your 3 personal brand pillars and show them in every video. Don't compete on value, but compete on brand. So the reason that this is so important, and the reason that like I want to make a whole video just on these 2 topics, because I've seen time and time again, coaches will try and create content and their value is insanely good, right? They can get someone amazing results. But the problem is actually getting people as clients. Now, the reason you're not able to is because when you just post great value, when you only have your content pillars, people watch this and they take it, okay? Because it's value, but they don't actually care about you. So they would rather just take your value, quick implement it, and go to someone they actually care about and work with them instead, because you're forgettable, okay? Now, on the other hand, some people only have personal branding pillars. All they do is storytelling, content, everything like that. The problem with that is that when you only post personal branding content, people really resonate with you, but they see you as a friend, so you have no authority, and again, they're just gonna choose someone else with better value. So you have to have an even mix of both. You need to be able to have your content pillars and personal brand pillars working together all times. And while you're creating content, you need to take the personal brand pillars and take the content pillars and intertwine them together so that you can make content ideas that are going to amplify what you're already good at. This is the key. Now, I've helped dozens of coaches do this, dozens of coaches scale. So if you want to have my personal help, not just with the content pillars, not just with the personal brand pillars, but actually going into your business and seeing how we can help you take it to the next level, click the first link down below. Might be the second link. First link might be Instagram. Either way, drop a follow on the Instagram and book a call with us if you want to see how we can actually help you take your business to the next level, or just send me a message on Instagram. I will be answering those and helping out there as well. Hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you apply it, not just watch it, and we'll see you on the next one.